Give us my chol, give us my chol, give us my chol, give a smile. Give us my chol, give us my chol, be the reason someone smiles. Give us my chol, give us my chol, give us my chol, give a smile. Give us my chol, give us my chol, be the reason someone smiles. Give us my chol, give us my chol, give us my chol, give a smile. Give us my chol, give us my chol, be the reason someone smile. Give us my chol, give us my chol, give us my chol, give a smile. Give us my chol, give us my chol, be the reason someone smiles. Siva gedola, liot liot besimcha. Siva gedola, liot liot besimcha. Siva gedola, liot liot besimcha. Siva gedola, liot besimcha. Siva gedola, liot 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 besimcha. Be the reason someone smiles. Be the reason someone smiles. Be the reason someone smiles. Be the reason someone smiles.
Breakfast with Elli.
מודה אני לפניך מלך חי וקיים שהחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה רבה אמונתך.
נקרא תוספת שבס רבי זי. האור החיים הקודש אומר ושומרים בני ישראל את השבוס לעשות את השבוס. מה זה לעשות את השבוס? אז אומר האור החיים הקודש, תשמעו טוב, כי מה שמוסיף מחול על הקודש יסכים השם לקרוא את השבס. מה שאתה מוסיף, כמה שתוסיף, אתה מוסיף, יסכים השם לקרוא את השבס. ונמצא, אומר האור החיים, זהו איש אוי את השבס ממש, לבוס לעשות את השבס. יש ושומרו בני ישראל את השבס, ויש לעשות את השבס. מה זה לעשות את השבס? מה שאתה מוסיף שבת. ככה אומר הלושן של האור החיים. יסכים השם לקרוא את השבס. ונמצא זהו איש אוי את השבס ממש. אומר האור החיים, כשעות מיום שישי, וגם שויס מיום ראשון, שהם חול, בני ישראל לא עושים מועצם שבת. בני ישראל עושים אותם לשבת. אתה עושה שבת. לעשות את השבת.
Ay, 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 good Shabbos. Ein di da Laila, ein di da Laila. Ay, 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 Shabbos Kodesh.
Good morning and welcome to Breakfast with Elli. It is season 8, episode 200 and... Oh dear, what happened here? What happened here? Hold on one second. Very strange. You must forgive me. All right, let's go with this. Let's just go with this for right now. Okay. Season 8, episode 207. It is Friday, Erev Shabbos, the 18th day of Tammuz, the 3rd day of July. The Torah portion is Pinchas, HaYom, Yom, Shishi, LaShabbos, 6th day, counting up towards Shabbos, B'Eloi, the 6th and 7th Aliyos. In New York City tonight, you light Shabbos candles at 8:13, and Shabbos will end at 9:22. That is actually a minute earlier than last week. So there. You got that to look forward to. 8:13 and 9:22. All right? All right, let's get that straight. And it is the beginning of the 3 weeks. We'll talk about that in just a minute. First, men and boys, take your 2 front tzitzis and let's make a bracha. Everyone else join us in the second bracha as we say our morning davening.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al mitzvat tzitzit. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat yadayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher yatzar et ha'adam b'chokhma uvaravo nekavim nekavim chalulim chalulim galui v'yadua lifnei chisei Chevodecha she'im yisatem echad mehem o im yipateach echad mehem אי אפשר להתקיים אפילו שעה אחת. ברוך אתה אדוני רופא כל בשר ומפליא לעשות. אלוהי נשמה שנתת בי טהורה היא, אתה בראת, אתה יצרת, אתה נפחת בי, ואתה משמרה בקרבי, ואתה עתיד להתלה ממני ולהחזירה בי לעתיד לבוא. כל זמן שהנשמה בקרבי מודה אני לפניך אדוני אלוהי ואלוהי אבותי, ריבון כל המעשים, אדון כל הנשמות. ברוך אתה אדוני המחזיר נשמות לבקרים מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו על דברי תורה. הריני מקבל עלי מצוות עשה של ואהבת לרעך כמוך. I take upon myself every single day to love my fellow friend in a very special way.
Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe, Morasha kehilas Yaakov, Morasha kehilas Yaakov. lanu Moshe.
All right, let's give some tzedakah for today and for tomorrow, Shabbos. You know it. That's right. All right. Tzedakah has been given. What? Yeah, sure, you can give extra for the 4th of July. 250th anniversary of the country that we call home. Sounds good to me. All right, Shema. Men and boys, take your 2 front tzitzis and let us, everybody, place your right hand over your eyes and let's say the Shema together.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavecha uvechol nafshecha uvechol me'odecha vehayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzvahecha HaYom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvelechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
All right, it is time to say the 12 psukim. Are you ready? Let's go. Wait, what happened to the 12 psukim? Oh, that's weird. All right, let's go back. 12 psukim.
Shama
All right, and that takes us to breakfast, where we have coffee and we have yogurt. And thank God we have air conditioning. We had a scare yesterday, let me tell you. Our air conditioning kept popping the fuse, and we didn't know what to do about it. We called an electrician. We tried all kinds of different things. Nothing seemed to work. And in the end, we ended up having to purchase a new air conditioning. Now, our air conditioning is 12 years old. 12 years is pretty good. It's a Friedrich. It's a good model. But it's a specialty one because of the size of the sleeve. And so we had to replace it with the exact same one. Now, 12 years is pretty good for an AC, but it's been really, really loud, and it's, not cooling as well as it used to cool. So we're replacing it. It won't come till Monday, though. And we thought we'd have to spend the entire weekend without air conditioning. But it turned out that by a miracle and by the grace of Hashem Yisborach, we were able to turn on the air conditioning last night, and it has so far lasted through the night. And it's still going right now. We have it on low and set at 76 degrees, but it's keeping the room manageable, which is Baruch Hashem. Thank God for small miracles. But maybe it's not such a small miracle. Maybe it's a big miracle. You can never tell with miracles. It's amazing how Hashem works his magic. All right, making a bracha shahakol, thanking Hashem for everything that he does, and that everything does really come into being by his word. Shahakol nihiyah bidvaro. Bora ato adinoi lehin melech haolam, shahakol nihiyah bidvarai.
Coffee, blessed coffee. God bless you for being a friend. When the whole world turns on me, it's only you on which I can depend. I want to taste you in the morning and a few times throughout the day. Yes, a cup or two in the evening too. For me, it's the only way. Yeah.
Claim to you too. All right, let's get started today in Jewish history. Very strange. I'm not going to be able to do a July 4th program because July 4th is tomorrow, Shabbat. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and others, please remember one thing. It's very, very important. You may not go to fireworks celebrations. Now, let me tell you, if there are fireworks going on where you are, and you can see them from a window or a balcony or rooftop, as long as you're safe, obviously, that's fine. That's fine. Not a problem at all. But remember, you cannot travel to go see them. And I'm saying walking outside. If you live near a park and you want to walk to the park on Shabbos, that's fine. But remember, when Shabbos is over in your area, and make sure that you are not Mechal Shabbos, that you don't violate Shabbos in order to watch the fireworks of the 4th of July. That's not what Hashem wants. Okay? Very important. All right. Today is the day that Moshe Rabbeinu dropped the tablets and then destroyed, yesterday, I'm sorry, was. Today is the day he destroyed the Egel HaZahav, the golden calf, by burning it, crushing it into powder, mixing it with water, and he had the Jewish people drink it. The next morning, those who had embraced the calf were found dead, their bellies miraculously swollen from the water, just like the s8e, remember? Moshe then reascended Har Sinai to plead Hashem's forgiveness for the Jewish people, and was up there another 40 days and 40 nights. Yechezkel Hanavi, the prophet Ezekiel, finished the 390 days that he was commanded by Hashem to lie on his left side. Remember that? on the 12th of Tammuz, and he started to lie on his right side for 40 days in order to atone for the sins of the Jewish people. Klal Yisrael. Altogether, he remained lying down for 430 days. On the 28th day of Av, he arose, and on the 5th day of Elul, he received the prophecy 5 years before the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash. All right. A lot of very negative things happen. I don't want to go into all those. Hey, JJ. Yes, all right. Meshulam Kusi established the first Hebrew press in Italy at Piove di Sacco, near Padua, and printed Rabbeinu Yaakov ben Asher's Arba Turim. The same year, he also printed a slichot for the holidays. Today's the yahrzeit of Mordechai Manuel Noach. Noach became the United States consul to Tunisia. Fixated on the problem of a haven for Jewish refugees, he wrote about the importance of a revived Jewish homeland in 1825, decided to acquire Grand Island in New York as a Jewish city of refuge. He served as the sheriff of New York and was appointed the head of the Democratic Party in 1837. He also that year came to the conclusion that the best solution for the Jews was to have their own homeland in Eretz Yisrael. All right. Today is the yahrzeit of Rabbi Yitzchak Herzog. Rabbi Yitzchak Halevi Herzog was born in Lomza, Poland, moved to the United Kingdom with his family in 1898. He served as rabbi of Belfast from 1916 to 1919, appointed rabbi of Dublin in 1919, went on to serve as chief rabbi of Ireland between 1922 and 1936, wouldn't you know? After which he emigrated to Israel and succeeded the late Rabbi Avram Isaac Cook as chief rabbi of Israel. He served as chief rabbi until his death in 1959. He authored numerous works, including Divrei Yitzchak, an anthology of Talmudic discourse, and halachic work Heichel Yitzchak, the Rabbi of Dublin. The Allen Plan, or Alon Plan, is unilaterally presented, a strategic proposal for Israel's retention of the Jordan Valley in the West Bank, including a series of Jewish settlements and military installments to act as buffers against potential Arab attacks from the east. That was in 1967. In 2001, in Jedwabne, Poland, in Jedwabne, Poland, Polish President Kłamniecki apologized for the wartime massacre of Jews. The entire time of Jedwabne gleefully participated in the killing of Jewish residents during the Holocaust. Hashem should avenge their blood. We learn chapter 6 of Pirkei Avos this week, and next week we will start all over again. All right? All right. And now, let's learn about the Beis HaMikdash. Come on. There we go. Ba-ba-da-ba-dum. Aye. All right. Here we go. Class number 2.
Welcome to the second class on the structure and details of the second Beis HaMikdash. In the previous class, we learned about the HaREBBE'S, and in this class, we're going to learn about the Ezras Noshim. So for starters, it's called the Ezus Nashim because there was an upper level porch which was made for the woman. So that's indicated over here in the highlighted yellow, that here there was an upper level porch for the woman. Now it's unclear exactly how much of it covered, whether it was the entire area here, also whether it extended here because there were doors here to come into the Ezus Nashim, also whether it extended here because there were doors to go into the Azara. But either way, around this section here, there was an Ezus Nashim, an upper level porch for the woman. Now for the entrance to get into the Ezus Nashim, so in front of the Ezus Nashim, there were 12 steps, and each one of the steps was a half a amma high and a half a amma wide. So that means that the Ezus Nashim was 6 ammas higher than the HaRABBE'S, because there were 12 steps, and each step was a half a amma high. Now for the size of the Ezus Nashim, so the Ezus Nashim was a perfect square, it was an exact square, and it was 135 ammas by 135 ammas, which is around 212 feet by 212 feet, and later we'll show a representation of what this size is. Then over here we have in the corners these rooms. So these rooms are called leshachas, and they were also exact squares, and they were 40 amos by 40 amos, which is around 63 feet by 63 feet. And again, later we'll show a representation of what this size is. Now let's learn what each of these rooms were used for. So we have these 4 rooms over here. They were all open to the sky. They didn't have a ceiling. So the first room over here on the bottom right, which is the southeastern corner, so that was called the Lishkas Nazirim. And it's where the Nazirim would cook their carbon shlamim and cut their hair, which they would then burn on the fire that they used to cook the carbon shlamim. Moving along, so on the top right, which is the northeastern corner, we have the Lishkas Dira Eitzim, and it's where the Kehanim that were Bali Mum checked the wood for worms, and this was the wood that was used on the Mizbeach. Moving along, so on the top left corner, which is the northwestern corner, so here we have the Lishkas HaMitzayim, and it's where the Mitzayer would tavel and then wait to place his thumbs into the Ezer Yisrael to have blood from his carbon as well as oil placed on his right ear, right thumb, and right big toe, thereby becoming tahor. And finally, in the bottom left, in the southwestern corner, see here we have the Lishkas Beis Shmanya, and it's where the wine and oil was stored. Moving along, so in front of the Azara, the entrance to the Azara, which is at the end over here of the Ezus Nashim, so there were 15 steps. They were rounded steps, and they corresponded to the 15 Shir Amalis. And each one of the steps, like the steps in front of the Ezus Nashim itself, each of them was a half a amma high and a half a amma wide. And this is where the Levim would stand and play their musical instruments on Simchas Beis HaShe'eva. Now, if we have over here 15 steps, so this means that the Azara, which is the next area over here, it means that it was 7.5 amos higher than the Ezus Nashim. And so over here, where we have the arrows, there were doorways that led to under the Azara, which opened into 1 or 2 rooms. It could be it was one connected room, or maybe they were 2 separate rooms, and it was located under the Azara, and that's where the Levium stored the musical instruments. And finally, there was a Bezdin of 23 judges, 23 Dayanim, which it says was at the entrance of the Azara, so it was basically somewhere in the Ezus Nashim. Now, to go back to the size of the Ezus Nashim and the size of the Leshachas, so here's a representation of the size of the Ezus Nashim. It's basically from Eastern Parkway until Union, along the entirety of Kingston, and then it extends the building over here of 770, the next building, the main building of 770, then it passes also over the courtyard, and then halfway into the first building over here of the library. So here you can see it from a different perspective. It goes all the way along over here into halfway into the building of the library. And then for those shachas, which you said were 40 amas by 40 amas, which is 63 feet by 63 feet. So that's basically the size of this area over here in front of 770, almost all the way across the service lane. And here we could see it from another perspective. So this is basically the size of each of the shachas. So they were quite large. And with that, we'll end the second class. And in the next class, now that we finished learning about the Ezus Nashim, we'll move on to learn about the Azara.
Let's check it out. We're starting here on HaRABBE'S. By the way, over here you have the psukim of Yecheskel. So you can skip forward all of the HaRABBE'S. Look at that. We have diagrams that give precise explanations, comparisons to Bayis Sheni throughout the entire experience, and also inner look. See what's going on. Explanation of what's happening here. This is precise dimensions, and as much as can be derived from the Mefarshim and explanations have been derived. So we know, for example, this color, the color of the sky, that's the wall, all the gold, these palm trees, and here you have a view from the top. You see the whole HaRABBE'S. You see a bunch of shuls that are connected to the Beis HaMikdash. And this really, really gives you, first time ever, an unbelievable look at every nook and cranny of HARUACH-V'SEN. You see some of the Levium getting ready. This is Beis HaMikdash s8e. Look at these rooms. Unbelievable. You could move forward by clicking through. And up the steps, you see through the window, looking out to the Beis HaMikdash. Let's go to Beis HaMikdash s8e. Just click and drag. Beis HaMikdash s8e obviously has a lot of different mefarshim. So this is right now the view according to Rashi. But how would the Rambam view this? Oh, do you see the big difference between the Rashi and the Rambam when it comes to the Chel, this gate? According to the Rambam, it's like this. Let's get back into Rashi's view. The gate is going under the Sanhedrin. What's this jug over here? This jug, the ashes from the Paraduma of all generations, and the Beis HaMikdash s8e, also extremely accurate depictions, accurate to scale, and give you an explanation on everything that's happening. So this is just a bit of a taste. There's 100 times more that's packed in here. Unbelievable resource that you have a comparison to Beis HaMikdash s8e on this particular item over here. There's a search bar. You can search for rooms. You could just type in which room and it will automatically determine where you're trying to go. You open this up. You have Mishnayos. According to the Maseches Midas, you want to go to a certain room in Mishnah 1. It will take you to that particular specific place. Lishkas HaKarban. Take you to Lishkas HaKarban. And on the wall, you have here insights, some stories from the Gemara, and explanations, Beis Aftinas, etc. Now, here's the cool thing. In both Beis HaMikdash, you can show text. So here you have the Rambam with an translation right next door to the experience. And you also have Maseches Midas, chapter 1, 2, etc. I'll take you back to Beis HaMikdash s8e. Show text, you have the Yecheskel, all 6 chapters of Yecheskel. So, hope you enjoy.
All right, if you'd like to know more about this, go to thealeph.co. Thealeph.co. You want me to post that in here? I'll do that. Hold on one second. I can do that really quick, I think. Well, no, it's not letting me. Hold on. All right, let's see if I can do it now. There we go. No, not letting me post that. Thealeph.co. Let's go back to that and see if I can do that. Nope, that's not going to work. Hold on. I wonder why it's not letting me copy that. The alt.co pricing plans. Ah, there we go. All right, there you have it. You can go to that website and you can So you see what they have, a pricing plan on getting the 3D tour of the Beis HaMikdash, 3D Beis HaMikdash tour. All right. There you go. All right. They don't allow links in chat. Why not? Let me try. I can do the link in chat, I think. I have a way. There's always a way. Here, try this. See if this works. There you go. Okay. All right. And now, HaYom Yom for today.
HaYom Yom, thoughts for the day, 18th of Tammuz. What should I do with today's entry? I'm not Moshe Valenkin, and I'm not even sure what Moichin the Godless is. So where do we go from here? One lesson from today's entry is that we are all blessed with special skills. I do not have the option to be Moshe Valenkin. I do have the opportunity to follow his model, to put in the extended effort to develop my gifts and make them shine. You be you. Everyone else is taken.
ADD is not just a condition that a group of individuals suffer from. ADD is a sign of our times. People in general today do not know how to focus on anything. It's like you bump into somebody and you're talking to them and it's like you want to knock on their head and say, hello, are you there? Because they're not. We're just spread so thin all over the place. We are all over the place. We are never focused on one thing. Listen to today's HaYom Yom. The Alter Rebbe, the first Rebbe of Chabad, is talking about one of his great disciples, Reb Moshe Valenker. And he says that Moshe has magnitude of intellect. Not sure exactly what that means, but apparently he was born with pretty extreme, intense, amazing intellectual capacities. But says the Alter Rebbe, in the 10 years of his toil, he has attained, through his labors, a whole different type of intellectual capacity. Now it's it's powerful, wide-ranging. Again, I've got to be honest, I'm not sure exactly what these different levels of intellectual capacity mean, but what the Alter Rebbe is certainly saying is that as a result of Reb Moshe Valenker's hard work that spanned 10 years, he was able to fundamentally change his capacity for thinking and understanding in a very positive and dramatic way. But you have to know a little bit more about Reb Moshe's story. For 3 years, Reb Moshe Valenker prepared himself for the yechidus, for the private audience that he was going to have with the Alter Rebbe. Could you imagine preparing for a meeting, taking 3 years out of your life to prepare for a single meeting? But that's not all. When he was done with that yechidus, he remained in the Alter Rebbe's city of Liozna for 7 years to translate what he had heard at that yechidus meeting into actual practice. So he prepared for the yechidus meeting for 3 years, and then spent 7 years after that meeting making what he had learned at that meeting real in his life. That's focus. I'm not sure we're at that level, but we can strive to go against the grain of the ADD society that we live in. Try to take something that you've learned today, this week, this month, this year, something that's meaningful to you, and really zone in on it. Think about it, work with it, not just for 1 second or 1 minute or even an hour. Try to make it a guiding principle that you can study and work with for an extended period of time so that it could become a part of you and remain with you for years or perhaps forever.
Wow. I love that. Okay, let us now go to Reb Lazer Brook, Chazan Lazer Brook, and a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
ממקומך מלכנו סויפייה ושים אלוהי חולנו כי מחכים אנחנו לו Gadal v'siskadash b'soich Yerushalayim yimircho ledoir v'odoir ulenetzach netzochim oy 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 veineinu sireno oy
And now, a word from our sponsors. PestProRidall.com.
PestProRidall.com, trusted by the best to keep away the pests. We are offering COVID-19 disinfection services. Mention this ad and get 1 month free service. Visit us at PestProRidall.com.
Tarzan Group, micro, miniature, and small orchids. Go to tarzangroup.com or call Tomas at 305-440-0565. That's 305-440-0565. And order today. Visit Tomas and Yair at tarzangroup.com. Micro, miniature, and small orchids. Beautiful in your home. Go to the website and read Tomas's orchid blog. And by Dina D Design. DinaDDesign at gmail.com. Fine artwork, custom made to your specifications, logos, wall hangings, Judaica, and you can even have something for your child's room. Dina D Designs. Go to her Facebook or Instagram or call or text. Thank you very much to our sponsors. If you'd like to become a sponsor, please go right up here to where it says patreon.com/theactorsrabbi, and you can contribute even only $1 a month if you'd like, but that'll help us bring this broadcast to you on a daily basis and cover our expenses. Be sure to thank your sponsors when shopping and mention Breakfast with Elli when you're shopping there. There might be discounts. Thanks for watching.
Helping lots of people any way we can. Tzedakah is the Jewish way to help your fellow man.
All right, if you would like to help out, doing a huge mitzvah. We could use your help. I'm not asking you to pay for my air conditioning. That's not what this is about. This is about helping to pay our expenses for the show itself. We have about $12,000 a year associated with the show from all the platforms that we pay for streaming. And yes, we do have to pay for streaming because we have a 90-minute show, and most of these places don't allow 90-minute streams, so we have to pay for some of them, and also we have to pay for the software that is used to broadcast to all of these different links. That is expensive too, plus the software used to generate excuse me, to generate all the titles and the videos that we edit and things like that. So if you can, give generously by scanning the QR code that you see on your screen. It'll take you to breakfastwithelli.live/support, and you can help support our channel. All right? Thank you very, very much. Let's learn Torah. All right, in the 6th Aliyah, from this point until the end of the Parsha, the Torah details the various communal offerings that were made in the Mishkan and the Beis Hamikdash at designated times. It discusses the twice daily Tamid sacrifice, as well as the additional sacrifices offered on Shabbos and Rosh Chodesh, first day of the Jewish month. In the Pesach, Shavuos, Rosh Hashanah, and Yom Kippur are discussed, and some of the laws related to these holidays. The last and final aliyah of this week's Parshas Pinchas discusses the sacrifices that are offered on the holidays of Sukkot and Shmini Atzeret. Wow, big time Charlie over here. Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, let us now hear more about the sacrifices from Chumash and Rashi with Rabbi Avtson. We'll do both the 6th and 7th Aliyahs.
Jewish audio on Chabad.org.
Hashem continues with the laws of sacrifices. As I have commanded you, on the 14th day of the first month of Nisan, you shall offer a Pesach sacrifice. And on the 15th day, which is Pesach, you bring matzah. You only eat matzah, you cannot eat any chametz. The first day is a holy occasion, you should not do any work. You shall bring an offering, young bulls, 1 ram, 7 one-year lambs. They shall be unblemished grain offerings, and with their oil and libations. Very specific details on each of the sacrifices, where each day you bring, throughout the Chag of Pesach, you bring sacrifices. The 7th day shall also be a holy occasion for you, and you shall not perform any work on it, as I have commanded you. The day when you offer your first fruits of the wheat harvest, that will be the Chag of Shavuot, and you shall not perform any mundane work on it. You shall offer an offering to Hashem, identical to the one offered on the Rosh Chodesh, 2 young bulls, 1 ram, 7 one-year lambs, and grain offering with olive oil, and different amounts for a bull and a ram, and for the lamb. And you should also offer 1 young male goat to atone for you, and you shall offer this besides the daily tamid. Then there's the sacrifices of Rosh Hashanah. 7th month, the first day. Remember, when we count the months, we count from Nisan. So Rosh Hashanah is the 7th month. Don't perform any work. It shall be a day of shofar sounding for you. You shall bring a offering to Hashem, 1 young bull, 1 ram, 7 one-year lambs, all unblemished. This is also similar to Rosh Chodesh. And the truth is, Rosh Hashanah is Rosh Chodesh, except that only 1 bull is required instead of 2. And the grain offering shall be fine flour mixed with olive oil, and various amounts for the various animals. You shall bring a male goat as a sin offering for you. Offer all this following the daily tamid, and bring it as prescribed. As I've commanded you, the 10th day of the 7th month shall be a holy occasion for you, and you shall afflict your souls. You shall not perform any work. And that is obviously the Chag of Yom Kippur. You shall bring a offering similar to Rosh Hashanah, 1 young bull, 1 ram, 7 one-year lambs, and their grain offering shall be fine flour, with all the libations that it needs. You shall also offer a young male goat for a sin offering, besides the special atonement sin offering for Yom Kippur, and you should bring it all after the original tamid.
Jewish audio on Chabad.org.
The seventh reading, Sukkot, 15th day of the seventh month. You don't perform any work on the first day, and you shall celebrate the festival for Hashem for 7 days. Sukkot is different than the other Chagim in that each day has its own unique sacrifices. In addition, you shall offer an ascent offering to Hashem, a fire offering. On the first day, keep your math over here, 13 young bulls, 2 rams, 13 one-year lambs, and they shall all be unblemished. This additional offering is unique. The rams and lambs offered each day are double the amount required on the first day of each month, and the bulls decrease from 13 on the first day to 7 on the seventh day. The total number of bulls is 70, alluding to the 70 archetypical non-Jewish nations. These offerings serve to protect them, the other nations, from harm. Their decreasing number alludes to the abolition of non-Jewish governments when Mashiach comes. The total number of lambs is 98. They serve to protect the Jews from the 98 curses with which they will be threatened before they enter the Promised Land, as we'll read in the Parsha of Ki Tavo. The non-Jewish nations are alluded to by bulls, which represent Avraham, because Avraham was the father of a multitude of nations. The Jews are alluded to by lambs, which represent Yaakov, because Yaakov was the only patriarch whose all children was Jewish. There are 2 daily rams, because the rams are mentioned between the bulls and the lambs, and thus allude to an intermediate state between the non-Jews bulls and the Jews lambs. Of the sons of Isaac, who is represented by the ram, one, Yaakov, becomes a Jewish patriarch, the other, Esav, does not. Since the rams only represented intermediate state, there is no intrinsic significance to their total number, as there is for the bulls and the lambs. And the grain offering shall be fine flour, oil for each animal its own unique amount. You shall also offer a male goat for a sin offering. And furthermore, on each day of Sukkot, you shall pour water, not wine, on the altar, besides wine. And on the second day of Sukkot, you go down, you 12 young bulls, 2 rams, 13 one-year lambs, all unblemished. And you follow all the libations and the male goat. On the third day of Sukkot, 11 bulls, 2 rams, and 13 one-year lambs. And as we said, libations. On the fourth day, 10 bulls, 2 rams, 13 one-year lambs, libations. On the fifth day, 9 bulls, 2 rams, 13 one-year lambs. On the sixth day, 8 bulls, 2 rams, 13 one-year lambs. And on the seventh day, Hoshana Rabbah, 7 bulls, 2 rams, and 13 one-year lambs. And then there is, at the end, the Chag of Shmini Atzeres. As I have commanded you, the 8th day counting from the first day of Sukkot is the holiday Shmini Atzeres, the 8th day restriction. In contrast to the other festivals of which you are prohibited from engaging in mundane work because there are holy occasions in and of itself, Shmini Atzeres shall be a time of restriction for you. That is a day on which I restrain you from returning to your work. So I want to spend one more day with you, after Rosh Hashanah, after Yom Kippur, after Sukkot. I want to spend another day with you. For this purpose, I restrict you on this holiday in 2 ways. You shall not perform any mundane work, and unlike the other holidays, you must stay the night of the holiday in proximity to the Mishkan. To further demonstrate the intimacy between us, you shall offer an ascent offering, a fire offering to please Hashem, 1 bull, 1 ram, and 7 one-year lambs, all unblemished. True, this is the same additional offering required for Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, but in juxtaposition to the additional offerings of the previous 7 days, it highlights the uniqueness of the Jewish people. 1 bull, 1 ram, and only the usual set of 7 lambs that allude to Hashem's covenant with the Jewish people. The grain offerings, the libation, you shall all offer it to Hashem. And you shall offer these to Hashem on your festivals, besides your outstanding vows and voluntary offerings for all the offerings that you commit throughout the year. As long as you have made the pilgrimage to Jerusalem to offer the required offerings, offer any outstanding voluntary offerings you may owe as well. Moshe spoke to the Israelites in accordance with that which Hashem had commanded him.
All right. Fantastic. All right. Parsha Points with Rabbi Epstein is next. Here we go.
Parsha Points for Pinchas Friday. Now that we've got the land settled and who's going where, it's time to get the calendar settled. When we celebrate and how. Space, time, kind of like the origin of creation. In the beginning, time, Hashem created heaven and earth. Space, Hashem creates time, Bereshis, and then space, Shemayim va'aretz. He instructs us to organize our space first, dividing the land, and then our time. The festival calendar, get your house in order, and your day planner will follow. Parsha Points for Pinchas, Shabbos. You know that famous story about the potential convert who wants to be taught the entire Torah while standing on 1 foot, 1 regel, Well, the word regel is also the term for the holidays. And essentially, yes, all of Torah fits on one of those regels. The regel bifnei atzmo, the independent regel. The regel of Shmini Atzeres, the regel that celebrates celebrating. The one that preserves all the holiness of the month of holidays. Stand tall on that one, and we will stand tall together. That's the antidote to the dispersal Hashem wants to avoid. Make this holiday so special, celebrate so strong that we will never be apart.
Since we entered the 3 weeks, which generally is known as the 3 weeks of mourning between the fast of Shivas Tammuz of yesterday and Tisha B'Av, really we should look at it differently. This is 3 weeks of Chol HaMoed, because our sages tell us that these days will be transformed into days of celebration. So I presume Shivas Tammuz, yesterday the fast, will become the feast day. Tisha B'Av will become a Yom Tov. So we have 3 weeks in between of Chol HaMoed. So we know that we are going to be enjoying the wine HaMeshumah, the wine that is being preserved from the beginning of creation time, where God preserved it for the feast, for the festivities of Mashiach. You have any idea where this is kept? This amazing, wonderful, well-aged wine? I want to share with you a story in the Talmud. Very fascinating. But before that, thank you, Hashem. Mizmor l-s8e, ori l'Adonai kol ha'aretzim t'aseh b'simcha. Boi lefanav v'nana duka Adonai olim hu asanu v'lo anachnu ha'am ha'mitzvah marisoi. Boi yishor b's8e chatzroisa b'sila hoide lo baruch shemoi ki tov v'Adonai le'olam chazdoi v'yad dor v'dor emunasoi. My friends, some tzedakah. So the Talmud relates the following story. After the Churban Habayis Hasheni, the destruction of the Second Temple by the Roman Emperor, a number of great sages were around then. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, his student, Rabbi Shua ben Chananya, illustrious student. In fact, he was the teacher of Rabbi Akiva. Brilliant mind, very clear thinker. Often he would have debates with the philosophers of the time to prove to them the truth of Torah. So the Talmud relates the following anecdote. The daughter of the emperor, who she considered herself God's gift to the world. Beautiful young woman, haughty as can only be, walking in the streets of Jerusalem. And there she notices Rabbi Shua ben Chananya. By reputation, hearing the name, she knew who he was, what a great sage. But then she mockingly, sarcastically expressed herself. How could it be that such beautiful wisdom, Judaism, God's Torah as you claim it, is being kept in such an ugly vessel? Rabbi Shua ben Chananya was not the most beautiful looking individual physically. So he tells her, can I ask you a question, young lady? You're the daughter of the emperor. Always throws parties. Probably have delicious wine. Do you by any chance know where the wine is kept? Says, depending. Wooden barrels, etc. But the top quality is kept in clay jars. And he looks at her. The emperor's best wine is kept in clay jars? Shouldn't it be more royal? Doesn't deserve to be kept in gold vessels and gold containers. Indeed, she says, you're right. She went back, told the servants to take all the wine which is in the clay jars and put them into gold containers. They asked no questions. They do as they told by the princess. Eventually, the emperor threw a party and he asked for the wine to be brought from the clay jars, the best wines, to bring them in gold containers. And the wine is totally spoiled. What happened? Who put in those wine into the gold containers? The daughter. Why did you do this? The rabbi told me to do that. First accuse the Jews. But tell me the story. And she relates. She asked the question, and he said that. He calls upon him. Rabbi Yeshua ben Hanani comes in front of the emperor and he says, why did you tell my daughter to spoil my wine? Your Highness, tell the story. I gave it as an example. Sadly, your daughter didn't understand it. Says the Talmud. That's the beauty. The Beit HaMikdash was destroyed. The beautiful physical Beit HaMikdash was destroyed. It's in ruins, in shambles. Ugly sight. But the wine is kept there. The purity of the wine is kept in the time of exile. So that in Mirz Hashem, any second now, when we come out of this exile, the beautiful wine will taste so great together with the l'chaim on the Yain HaMeshubar.
You like that? I thought you would. All right. That takes us to Tehillim. Let us say some Tehillim, doing chapters 23 and 125. Ready?
מזמור לדוד, אדוני רואי, לא אחסר, בינוס תשע, ירביצני, על מי מנוחוס ינהלני, נפשי שובב, ינחני ומעגלי צדק, למען שמו, גם כי לך בגץ על מובס, לא ירא, כי אתה עמדי, שבטך ומשענתך, המה ינחמוני, תערוך לפניי שולחן נגד צורריי, תשענת בשמן ראשי, כוסי רוויה, אך טוב וחסד ירדפוני, כל ימי חיי ושבתי בביס אדוני לאורך ימים.
שיר המעלות הבטחים באדוני קראתי אלוהים עד לעולם ישב ירושלים הארץ סביב לו ואדוני סביב לעמוד ויחדו ביד עולם כי לא ינוח שבט הרשע על גורל הצדיקים למען לא ישלחו הצדיקים באפלוס ידיהם היטיבו אדוני לטובים ולישרים בליבו ישם והמשהו מקום לא ישם ירליכם אדוני יספויה ליאהוב את שלום על ישראל
All right, we are doing the 6th chapter of Pirkei Avot. Yeah, let us do that. Hold on one second. All right, that works. Let's do it.
Well, Masechet Avot, Perek Mishnah Yud Aleph, last Mishnah in Masechet Pirkei Avot. Very short Mishnah. Kol MASHIV Kadosh Baruch Hu V'Lomar, everything God created in His world. Lo Bira'o Ela Lichvodo. He only created it. He did not create it except, meaning He only created it Lichvodo, for His honor. Shenemar, as it says, Kol Nikra B'Shmi U'Lichvodi. Everything that is called for my name and for my honor. Barativ Yitzartiv Af Asitiv. I created it. I formed it. I made it. Said everything in the world is a tool, is a kli for the glory of God. V'omer, and it says, Hashem yimloch le'olam va'ed. God will rule forever and ever. And then you might have noticed it like this. You might have noticed that when they print the Pirkei Avot, every chapter ends with the following. This Mishnah is actually in Masechet Makot. We learned this Mishnah. B'chanana ben Akasha Omer, B'Abkiana ben Akasha says, Vatzah Kadosh Baruch Hu l'zakot et Yisrael. God wished to give merit to the Jewish people. Therefore, He gave many. He increased for them the number of Torah and mitzvot. Shene'emar, as it says, Hashem chapetz l'man tzidko. God wishes for His sake, for His righteousness, yagdil Torah v'yadir, to increase Torah v'yadir and become glorious, and for the gloriousness. Now it's interesting. Rashi says, well, first of all, we read this. Why do we read this after every Mishnah? He says because you want to say Kaddish, okay? And you don't say Kaddish ala Mishnah ela al Agadah. We don't say Kaddish on Mishnah on Torah Shabbat Peh, but on Agadah, on Psukim, on the Drasha of Psukim. The Amar Amar v'yeshmei Rabba de Agadita. They had the Kaddish de Rabbana. You want to say Kaddish de Rabbana? You have to have it on Agadah, and therefore, even though maybe you learn a whole Daf Yomi or a whole Halacha Shiur, the Rabbi Agadah say Bechanan Gasha Omer Kaddish Baruch Hu Zakazil. It's very nice. Okay, we learned at the time when we learned Makot, the Rambam said beautifully. He said, why do you have so many mitzvot? Because there can't be a mitzvah. There are so many mitzvot that each person has his own thing that he does lishma. That everyone has a part of him that a mitzvah appeals to him, and that he should do for its own sake. And that's why God gave so many mitzvot to give each of one of us who are so different the opportunity to find our mitzvah lishma. We'll conclude with Rashi's beautiful conclusion. He says, "These are called Pirkei Avot. These are the words of the first fathers. That they received the Torah each from each other. We have the whole list. And Rabbi taught us, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi taught us, their actions were correct. And they would warn, they would admonish the people of their generation. And they would guide them in the right path. Every righteous, wise person should warn should warn the people of his generation, and teach them the proper path. Which means that we need a Pirkei Avot for every generation. The Pirkei Avot obviously are eternal, but we need Pirkei Avot for each and every generation to deal with the challenges of our time. We'll stop here. Thank you for joining me on this journey of the beauty of beautiful Pirkei Avot. We'll pick up in Masechet Haruyot. Hadron Alach. Masechet Avot. We'll see you in the next Mishnah. I'll dedicate all of the memory of my father, Harav Simcha ben Yitzchak Alma. Have a great day.
All right, hold on one second. All right. Tanya, are you ready? Here we go.
Tanya thoughts for the 18th of Tammuz. When the concept of self-serve gas first began, I remember asking my father, can't we just fill up and drive away? I mean, there was no credit cards, no cameras. And he said, yeah, I guess you could. Gullus has desensitized us from Kedusha. Bad behavior is not just tolerated, it's celebrated. You'll certainly get more clicks with depravity than with divinity. So we decide, do I live my life in pursuit of what can I get away with? Or what can I contribute? The worst part of Gullus is its tolerance of sin. The best part of Gullus is its tolerance of sinners, giving us the chance to do tshuva.
No, possible that Rebbe did say, just study Rambam each and every day.
All right.
I'll never miss my daily Rambam. My Rebbe so desires. I'm not busy or too tired. When I learn Rambam connected, I remain. I am a link in the Rebbe's golden chain.
All right, we are doing the class number 151 today.
One of the services that was performed in the Holy Temple every day was the offering of the ketores, the incense. This would take place inside the temple structure on a small mizbeach, a mini altar, known as the golden mizbeach. There are two mitzvahs associated with the ketores offering. Negative mitzvah number 85 is that we are not allowed to create the exact mixture of the ketores incense with the intent to use it for our own purposes versus being used in the Holy Temple. And negative mitzvah number 82 is that aside from the ketores, nothing else may be offered on this mini altar inside the temple structure. Positive mitzvah number 34 is that whenever the Kohanim wished to transport the Aron, the Holy Ark, which usually sat in the Holy of Holies in the Holy Temple, they must transport it using only their shoulders. They may not put it on a wagon. And negative mitzvah number 86 is that the poles that are stationed within the Aron, within the Holy Ark, may never be moved from their place.
גואלנו, והוא גואלנו, והוא גואלנו, משיח צדקנו, הרבי מלובביץ' מלך המשיח, הרבי מלובביץ'.
And they shall love truth and peace. Mashiach is someone who loves peace, who will make peace between the physical and the spiritual, body and soul, and most of all, between one man and his fellow. Mashiach will accomplish this through his wisdom. Truth takes both sides into account and finds a way to unite and transcend them. Now, whenever we face an issue, we must realize that as long as we only see one side, we're missing the truth. That's why Torah law teaches accepted and rejected opinions. In practice, we rule one way, but we can only grasp the wisdom of Torah by understanding both sides. He said this, they said that, in the middle is the truth. Through this, we attain peace. As our sages state about the Torah, its ways are ways of pleasantness, and all of its paths are peace. Now, Mashiach ben David is called the Great Mountain because he's greater than the patriarchs who are called mountains. So the verse says, "Behold, my servant shall prosper. He shall be exalted, uplifted, and very high, more exalted than Abraham, more uplifted than Yitzchak, and higher than Yaakov." Alternatively, he will be more exalted than Abraham, more uplifted than Moshe, and higher than the ministering angels. The Medrash quotes that. Mashiach will be far and beyond every other person who ever lived in the world. He'll also be able to reveal the essence of all, the essence that transcends intellect and emotion. Oops, sorry about that. Yes, individually, we access our spark of Mashiach through selfless commitment that transcends reason, stemming from the essence of our being, the Atzmus HaNefesh, the essence of our neshamas. All right? A Rebbe video about Mashiach today.
If you would bring Mashiach, all of our prayers would be answered.
Yeah, I am ready. I extend the cooperation from Muslim Jews around me.
So bracha that we should work harder to bring him as soon as we can.
Yeah, and as soon as possible. Yeah.
Thank you for everything.
God Almighty bless you.
we're ready to build a new building for the yeshiva in Pittsburgh, as well as buy a new house for the Chabad house. And we would like a bracha that should all go well and that we should have much success with that.
God much blessed to be in the successful way and as soon as possible. And I'll do it especially now because the Mashiach is coming tomorrow and maybe the day after tomorrow.
MORID HATAL-V'SEN.
Mashiach's waiting at the door, so let us greet him and come back home, finally home in the place where we belong. It's been so long that we've been gone, so lost and alone, scattered all across the globe. But now that we are back again, we beg you, please resume your throne. We're finally home.
All right. We talked about yesterday a story with Rabbi Akiva. One of Rabbi Akiva's teachers was a man named Nachum Ish Gamzu, Nachum of the town of Gamzu. But Gamzu was also a Hebrew phrase that means even this, Gamzu Latova, even this is for the good, which is what Nachum would always repeat. One time, the Jews found it necessary to send a chest of precious stones to the Caesar. They chose to send Nachum with the chest, since all recognized that he lived a life filled with miracles. All the way to Rome, Nachum guarded the chest with his life. But on the last leg of his journey, an innkeeper surreptitiously exchanged the precious stones that were in the chest for sand. By the time Nachum discovered the ploy, it was too late to turn back. So he aptly exclaimed, "This is fantastic! I shall do my job as an emissary of the Jewish people, and Hashem will fill in the rest. Gamzu Latova. This is also for the good." And he continued on his way to the Caesar. "Your Majesty," he proclaimed before the royal throne, "the Jews have sent you a gift." And he opened the chest of sand. Now nobody was impressed. When the Caesar announced that he would put him to death for the mockery, Nachum joyously repeated, "Gamzu Latova," and that's when the miracle occurred. One of the Caesar's advisors, who was actually Elijah the prophet in disguise, and we know Pinchas Zo Eliyahu, that Pinchas was the soul of Eliyahu, was the soul of Pinchas, suggested that this sand might have magical powers. After all, he explained, Abraham, the father of the Jews, vanquished 4 kings and their armies using magical sand that turned into arrows when thrown. The Caesar agreed to test it, and the Romans had no lack of wars to experiment with. The sand was issued to the Roman legions, and before long, news of a great miraculous victory was reported. Nachum was released and abundantly rewarded. He was delighted, but not the least bit surprised. By the way, the innkeeper got his own in the end. You see, when he got wind of the story, the poor fool also came to Rome, pulling a wagon load of his plain, ordinary sand for the Roman legions. And unlike Rabbi Akiva, for Nachum of Gamzu, all these events were not just for the good, they were good. They seemed disastrous, but that was just an artifact of limited perspective. Nachum, however, had a higher perspective. Today, we see suffering, we see pain, and we must do whatever we can to fix that. But we're on the verge of a whole new world. Such a new world of such high perspective that we'll look back and see that all occurred in an entirely new light. Not only was it all worthwhile, it was truly good. All good. Gamzu Latova. Even this is for the good. It's an amazing attitude to have. Gamzu Latova. Gamzu Latova. This is also for the good. Come talk to me more. Let's discuss it. Any of the Actors Rabbis groups at Blue Sky, Clubhouse, Discord, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Telegram, Twitter, WhatsApp, YouTube, or the Actors Rabbi at gmail.com to contact me. Or you can go to Breakfast with Elli, theactorsrabbi.com and sign up for many of our services, including our life coaching services. Or you can go to breakfastwithelli.live/mail and sign up for our weekly newsletter and breakfastwithelli.live/swag to get merchandise. And we've got a lot of merchandise these days. So go take a look at that. breakfastwithelli.live/swag. Let's make an after bracha.
Baruch ato Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam boirei nefashos rabos v'chesronan al kol ma sheborasa lachayos bohem nefesh kol chai baruch chai ha'olamim.
All right. Thank you for being here. Thank you to my Patreon sponsors, Pespro Riddle, Tarzan Orchids, Dina D Design, Bracha Biederman, Reza Musavi, Wendy Cohen, Julie Haber. Thank you for your donation today. And who else? David Wepman and our two anonymous donors. If you would like to become a donor, please go to scan the QR code that you see on your screen or go to breakfastwithelli.live/support and sign up today. All right. In New York City, we're going to light Shabbos candles tonight at 8:13. And Shabbos will end at 9:23, I believe it said. Hold on one second. I got to see my gizmo over here. Yep, 9:22. Sorry, 9:22. Yep, 8:13 and 9:22. All right. Yeah. So go out there and make it a great and glorious day. In the words of Rabbi Isaac Kamler, have affection for a fellow, Hashem will have affection for you. Do a kindness for a fellow, Hashem will do a kindness for you. Draw a fellow close, Hashem will draw you close to him. Be the reason someone smiles, and we're going to hear the Nigun HaShabbat, the Shabbos Nigun. So learn this thing. It's a great thing to sing at your Shabbos table. All right? We'll see you, God willing, on Sunday. Meanwhile, have a safe 4th of July. Happy birthday, America. 250 years, and we are enjoying religious freedoms. Unfortunately, we've got some anti-Semitism to deal with, but Gam Skula Tova, right? See you Sunday, God willing. Bye-bye.
La
Mazel tov.